Good evening, everyone. Brian Neubert here from goldenblack.com, here in the only major American city to have ever elected 3 socialist mayors, Milwaukee. If you don't get that, you are either too young or I am too old or somewhere in the middle. This is your goldenblack.com rap video following Purdue's 76-58 loss at Marquette. It is brought to you by our friends at the Purdue Club Hotel, whose location here in Milwaukee I still have not found for some reason. Regardless, we appreciate their support as always. All right, look, I feel like garbage right now, and I just used all of my energy for this video on that stupid intro. So temper your expectations accordingly here. So Purdue loses 76-58. It was bound to happen one of these years. Purdue loses a non-conference game. And I think on that occasion, it's appropriate to remind how impressive it's been for Purdue to have won the 39 non-conference games prior, especially when you take into account the fact that they have scheduled at a really high level with the expectation that early season struggles will help them in the long run. They just have not experienced early season struggles, as it so happened. Just a remarkable run that Purdue just had snapped here. Taking into account the consistency of it all, not just was Purdue playing great schedules, beating blue bloods left and right, but not tripping up and losing any games you shouldn't lose. You know, there was never a stinker at home that you almost lost or you did lose, things like that. And that's very hard, for college basketball teams to do. And Purdue's run here from December of 2020 until tonight was really something to behold. That said, it is now over. So one of our mottos here on these rap videos is one of our little pearls of wisdom that we come back to periodically is just the reality that some days you just get your ass kicked. And that's a valuable lesson I think we all need to learn in life at times. And I think this was a little bit of the proverbial buzzsaw. I think this was an elite defensive game by Marquette. Marquette's defense was better than Purdue's offense. It created more problems and gummed up Purdue's offense better than anyone in this run of games, outside of UConn, of course, in the national title game last year. You have to give Marquette's energy, their effort, their interchangeability, their length, their all of it, a ton of credit for this. They changed up their defenses. They created a lot of problems that made Braden Smith get the ball out of his hands. Purdue's going to see that again. People are going to trap him, make him pass, and let Purdue play 4-on-3 the rest of the way. And this was really the first team this season who's done that. And, Purdue just wasn't good enough. The turnovers were the game. They were the game. It was, in the final analysis, the only thing that mattered was the turnovers, and specifically the points Marquette got off those turnovers. I think 18 of them. It's the old reality that you would rather travel and kill the play than give up a pick six or just start transition off your own turnovers. And that's precisely the trap Purdue fell into. Marquette was allowed to get in transition. Marquette earned those opportunities, but they were in transition too much. They got too many freebies. And, as we saw in the Alabama game, Purdue's not bad defensively. They're not great, but they're not bad defensively when they're not turning the ball over. Giving up only 78 points to Alabama was something. I know 78 is still a pretty big number, but compared to what Alabama is capable of, that was more than acceptable. And Purdue won the game, so it didn't matter. But, it's been the trap for years now for Purdue. When they turn the ball over, it really makes things difficult, if not gets Purdue beat. And that's precisely what happened here in this game. I think Marquette earned it more than Purdue dropped the bowl of chili like Kevin in the Office gif. Regardless, it decided the game. I think that all that quality depth, Purdue, they're changing the court here for the Bucks, so excuse the beeping. I asked them to not do that, and they laughed at me. I don't know what the deal is there. that quality depth Purdue showed at Alabama. The freshman guards struggled in this game. Jakari Harris and C.J. Cox, weren't great in this game. They'll learn from this. It's part of the process. It's just so much of this stuff has gotten warped by what Purdue's done the last couple of years because processes have been skipped. Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer were freshmen, but they never looked like freshmen. Everything looked so easy when Ross-Ade was there because Ross-Ade was the best player in his age group in college basketball. I don't know what age group has to do with it, but, this is part of it. This is what November is for. You go on the road, you play high-level competition, and sometimes you lose. And, as I said, I think Marquette has earned this more than Purdue flubbed it. But Marquette is a good team. Cam Jones did to Purdue everything Mark Sears couldn't. I thought Purdue did an okay job on Mark Sears against Alabama. Cam Jones, just when he couldn't score, he did everything else to beat Purdue. The assists in the first half were a big part of, Marquette jumping out to a lead. They never really gave up. And the guys guarding and the system guarding Cam Jones just didn't respond as well as it did against Mark Sears. And that's a credit to Cam Jones. He's a hell of a player and a really good example of a guy sticking in a program here. He was in that Mackey Arena game a couple of years ago, I believe, if I recall correctly. Purdue's no stranger to Cam Jones. This Cam Jones is new. But a great example of a player, not unlike Trey Kaufman-Renn, where he's kind of a guy as a redshirt freshman. He's pretty good as a sophomore on a really good team, and then his time comes, and he blows up. And that's exactly what Cam Jones did to Purdue tonight with a triple-double. Really took this win home down in the final few minutes, but also got it off to a great start with his facilitating. And this is a guy where you worry about his scoring more than his playmaking, but he picked Purdue apart. And that, coupled with Purdue's turnovers, were the game. I think Purdue's got a center problem. It doesn't mean Purdue can't be really good, but I think Purdue's got to get a little bit more from its centers, or just go Kaufman-Renn at center primarily here. But I take that back. Will Berg did some good things. This wasn't a game for him because the kid from Marquette, Ben Gold, could shoot threes, and you don't really want. You had Cam Heide on him for a while, but you don't really want a 7-footer on a guy like that. Now, Gold wasn't shooting well coming into this game, nor was Marquette as a whole, but it wasn't a Will Berg game for that reason. But he did a couple positive things in the first half, had an assist in a high-low situation with Kaufman-Renn, dunked out of a high-low situation with Kaufman-Renn. I thought Purdue's big-to-big passing in this game was pretty good against Marquette's zone, things like that. Oops, sorry. That's what I got. My computer just fell, and now there's music playing. So I'm going to cut this off. I've said everything I can say here. So from Pfizer Forum here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, this is Brian Neubert from goldenblack.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for reading. Thank you for listening. And thank you for processing our materials. However it is you process our materials. Last time I did a video here, I almost lost my phone. And I'm going to make damn sure I have it here. So that would have been a disaster, needless to say. So thank you to the Purdue Club Hotel once again for your support. We appreciate it very much. And I will talk to you guys again this weekend after Purdue plays Marshall on Saturday afternoon, I believe. So thanks, everybody.